Palo Alto Networks to me is really intriguing. It clearly has had an insane run up over the last 5 years, 400%. That's basically 4xing the S&P 500's performance. But also, I find it interesting because I just did a video on another company called Arista Networks, and the chart is almost eerily similar. The company's position is almost eerily similar. I think their PE is 51, while Palo Alto's is 50. They do similar stuff, not quite the same, but in the same realm, right? Palo Alto does more security. They do more just operating systems for data centers in general. But if you're interested in Palo Alto Networks, I would first like to say, take a look at that chart real quick. Maybe check out the video I made. But anyways, talking about this specifically. So clearly it's had an insane run over the last 5 years, up 396%. That is, I think the S&P 500 is only up about 100% over that time frame, so clearly blew it out of the water. Since 2014, it IPO'd, it looks like in 2012, but since 2014, also just an insane performance. Insane. You cannot expect that ever. If it happens, you love it, but does not pay a dividend, not a huge deal. But you have to factor that in to performance over a long period of time, slightly at least. So you do see a forward PE, which is higher. However, it looks like earnings forward projections is higher. So maybe that was something tax related. I don't know. I haven't dived super deep into the earnings comparisons, but clearly you got a company that is growing. We can take a little bit of a look. Yep. So earnings per share, 76%, 27%. Next year, they're projecting 10%. 25% revenue, 16%, 13%. So it looks like they got wildly more efficient because revenue has been increasing like a good amount, but not quite 76%. Maybe they had a down year 2021. But anyways, we're not going to dive too deep into all the financial statements, but this is clearly a company that is growing fast, performing well. I am a little bit concerned about how high the PE is. However, it shouldn't be that surprising. Like I said, it has peers in this space around this price, right? Like I said, Arista Networks, it's about 51 PE. It's had a similar insane run-up, right? Or good run-up. I'm not saying it's insane because it's unjustified. I'm saying it's insane because of how much it has gone up in such a short time frame. So it's not alone in this, but you do have to factor in, for example, a recession, right? Or if they have a bad earnings, right? We saw that in ASML. It was P's about 45, and they actually projected 7 to 17% higher, but it was lower for revenue the next year, but it was lower than analysts expected, and it fell 22% over 2 days. It's now, I think, only down about 14% from where the earnings came up. But you do have to factor in that if this company maybe has a couple bad quarters, or there's a recession, or money's flowing out of, although it's security is pretty, right? Security solutions. I just keep reading the security. That's fairly safe, right? Yep, firewall. Yeah. I mean, I work in a pseudo data center, and I can tell you that security is very, 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 very important. So I don't think, but there is still times where money flows out of any industry for whatever reason, right? So if you factor in recession, maybe a bad quarter or whatever, you could be looking at it falling unjustified and a lot, people panicking, it falling a lot. So if you're someone who is prone to panic selling, I would be cautious of that. But other than that, long term, this company should be fine. They're growing like crazy. They're in a great industry. There is a reason they are demanding 50 PE. You know, the market is sometimes not realistic, or it misses things, right? It has blind spots, it overreacts, it underreacts, whatever it may be. However, there's also reasons for why stocks are certain prices. So there is a clear reason why this stock is valued at 50p, and it's because people want it, right? They're not going to sell it for 20 PE because why would they do that? They like the stock. It's been performing well. It's performing great even. Let's take a little bit of a look at what some analysts have to think or have to say. Think about it. Schwab thinks it's going to be in the bottom 40 percentile. No, this is the top 38, excuse me. Yeah, I got confused by that. I just saw C and I think bad, but I think they're B's in the 20th. So this they actually think it's going to be in the top 38% of performing stocks over the next year, which sounds bad, but most stocks do well. They don't think it's going to keep an insane run up and do 20% or anything, but they still think the stock is likely to grow. They reiterated that 2 days ago. Morningstar 3 stars, and then wide economic moat. I would assume so. There's not a lot of companies. Believe it or not, you would think with security and all that there would be a lot of different companies that do. There's really not a lot of big players in the game. So I would agree. I do hate the 0-3-10 scaling that this seems to imply, but I don't necessarily disagree. 4 stars, buy. Long, buy. Good ESG score, whatever you think of that. 10 out of 10 on environment. That's interesting. I almost never see that. Let's take a look at some historical PE real quick. I've been liking to do that. I need to eventually get the full one, but so we can see all of it. But yeah, so actually the PE's been roughly the same, right? You're not seeing a huge inflation. Often you see that in these stocks. This one you're not really seeing it. It's roughly been flat. 45 to 53, but that's all things considered relatively flat. Unless most are saying buy, especially last month, but even now. So the 41, what is that? 29 of them are saying buy or strong buy. So that's pretty good. Anyways, that's all I got today, guys. So I appreciate all you watching. If you liked, I'd appreciate if you left a like or subscribe, but that's all I have today. So I'll catch you guys later. See ya.